grab, and he's going to be sacked.
Broncos country, baby. Broncos country. We got the win. We didn't think it was happening. Don't tell me if you thought it was happening, man, because none of us thought it was happening. I got to put the horse head up here. I'm joined without Kodiak Broncos, but nonetheless, Marquee Sports, Jeremy, what's going on, guys? How y'all doing tonight? Want to get your guys' first takes, I guess, before we dive into this incredible victory, covering the bogus breaking news. Mark, I know you did a video on it, so let's hear your thoughts first. Everybody get in the chat. This is going to be a fun show. What'd you think about the NFL trying to take out our Denver Broncos, man, with Dre Greenlaw?
Yeah, I mean, it's just complete bullshit. There's no other way to around it, to kind of describe that. I mean, it almost seems just like a really petty suspension, kind of came out of nowhere. You watch the video, it makes their case even worse, especially when you see that the referee's putting his hands on Sternad, telling him to get out of the way, and then Dre Greenlaw reacts, and then it's very subjective too, right? Because he said threatening language. Okay, do we know exactly what he said? There's a lot of black and white. I'm not saying that I don't believe him, but you compare it to the Brian Branch 1-game suspension. He punched Juju Smith-Schuster in the face, gave him a bloody nose. So it was very obvious what had gone down. And he gets a 1-game suspension. And you can't convince me in any world that this was equal to that. And it's just frustrating. It's disappointing. And I think it sheds light on a much bigger issue that this league has with referees in general. Because you don't get that kind of reaction, or the refs don't get disrespected like they tend to without them making egregious calls at bad moments and being inconsistent and maybe favorable. And this is a league-wide thing. So hopefully it, has some accountability at some point. Hopefully maybe in the CBA or whenever they have the next negotiations, because it's just awful. But stupid suspension. I think it's going to ultimately get rescinded to just a fine. But still, just sick of stupid stuff like that happening.
Disgusted. Jeremy, what do you think about this whole thing? We were talking about it just a few minutes before we went live, and you brought up some good points.
Yeah, it's like if the refs didn't get all their, screwing us over during the game, they have to now start taking it to the regular week. Like, I don't understand. Everybody knows that call was horrible. Multiple calls. The whole game was called horribly. I'm sorry. I know we're supposed to just be like, oh, well, all's well that ends well. We won. No, it's like, at what point are we going to actually sit back and talk about, like, why does this keep happening over and over and over? We've talked about it almost weekly, where this stuff is just not getting called correctly. And you got all this money on the line. You got all these things. I just don't understand it. And if you look at the replay of what happened with that, they all run in to celebrate a game-winning kick that they overcame, not only a historic comeback and getting jobbed by the refs, but then the refs like blocking himself, like he's like, oh, don't run into me. And then he pushes Stranad, and then that makes like he has any, like he wants to do anything with that. And then he runs over and says something. He could have said something as easy as like, if you put your hands on our players, then we'll put we'll put our hands on you. Like, you just don't do that, whatever. And then he pulled a flag out and threw it like the most petty. This shows you who that man is. I'm sorry. But like, it's like, now you're in trouble. And it's like, it's over, bro. You can't do anything. But like, they still are trying to screw us for the next week. It's so unbelievable. I don't understand how the NFL has absolutely no recourse, repercussions on like who is watching these officiating games. And, I only watch mainly the Broncos for the most part, but the officiating across the board has been terrible. I don't understand. Like, as soon as the gambling legalized, it got so much worse. I don't get it. And Sean Payton at this point has to just, I mean, I think he's a great coach. I think he's a really good evaluator of like his staff, and he's fixed our injuries and he's drafted well. But you know what? Maybe the thing that's going to be the worst part about Sean Payton as our head coach is the referees hate him. I don't understand. The worst call in NFL history has to be the one where he was coaching New Orleans and they screwed him out of a Super Bowl appearance because there was no repercussion for that. They didn't say anything. They just go, I don't know. Like it was just, they missed it. How do you miss it? How do you miss that?
I know, man.
So yeah, I mean, at this point, I'm almost to the point where I'm just like, I guess that's just built in. We're gonna get screwed. We're not gonna get calls. We all know that. I'm not gonna even whine about it. We aren't gonna get calls, and we're gonna have to play that much better. We're gonna have to beat 2 teams.
Yeah, this guy Brad Allen. I was reading his Wikipedia page on my live stream earlier this evening. Dude, this guy is such a loser, man. This guy, he was responsible last year for that fumble call that should have been recovered by the Packers returner, but they even reviewed it and he said it was Eagles football. Terrible. That had a huge swing on the game. And then the year prior, he was the one that called for that infamous Taylor Decker, saying that he didn't report as eligible, but you could see him reporting as eligible for the Lions against the Cowboys, and the Cowboys ended up, benefiting and winning from that. So all this guy does is benefit NFC East teams for some reason, man. This guy's always making terrible calls. And yeah, for him to act that way with the team celebrating right there, for him to shove Sternad, it's unprofessional. You can tell that he was upset with the win based off of that type of reaction.
Yes.
And it's time for these guys to be held accountable. I hope that there's enough evidence to overturn this Dre Greenlaw suspension, dude, because that is so bogus. It is so bogus. And I thought we would be here talking about how good Greenlaw and Sternad could be going up against the Cowboys. And Alex Singleton is just inevitable, man. He's inevitable. That's how it is. Again, want to thank everybody for watching the show. Be sure to like, subscribe to all channels. I guess we can go ahead and get into the comeback victory. I'm getting a little bit of feedback from somebody. I don't know if we all have the game on or whatnot. But Mark, let's start with you, man. Let's start with you. I guess let's talk about the comeback, and then we can get into like the critical stuff, right? Like stock up, stock down, right? But
yeah,
what was your thoughts going into the fourth quarter? Take us through all the emotions.
Oh my gosh, it was crazy. Like it's almost one of those where it was so much more shock to me at the end than it was just pure joy, right? I think for me, man, like I was just kind of going through, like when the fourth quarter started, I was just kind of going through like, all right, where are we as a team? Like I really just started getting into like, I don't see us winning next week, and then we're going to be 4-4. And that's kind of, I just feel like we're a very average team right now for a lot of different reasons, and obviously very frustrated. And then when we had scored that first touchdown to bring it within 10, and then they got the tip pass to score again, a part of me was like, you know what? I'm actually really happy. I put this in a group chat. I'm actually really happy that happened, because I felt like this team, based on how they've been, playing, and then like they decide to wake up late, they needed to get their ass kicked. They needed to have like a humbling. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, all right, like we got lucky. They got lucky. I was just extremely annoyed. And then it's like a divine intervention happens, man. Like I can't explain it any other way. On the day that DT's getting, forever immortalized into the Hall of Fame, we have the Mile High Magic return out of nowhere. Every single thing that you possibly need to go right went right, with some additional challenges, and the Broncos were somehow able to overcome it. It's one of those where it's kind of unexplainable. And I think the only thing that would have made it better is if when Jackson Dart got injured, it was Russell Wilson that came in and threw the interception to Sternad. That would have been the cherry on top in terms of the only thing that makes it better. But I mean, it was unbelievable. Like I said, it's one of those where you can explain it to people. You can write a movie script about it. People wouldn't necessarily believe you. And if you watch the movie on it, you would just say, that's so fake. Like I didn't even like the plot, because it was that wild. 33 points in the fourth quarter is insane. So Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's still even well after 24 hours of the game ending, it's still difficult to like really fathom what actually happened. But
Yeah, like to put it
being
into
5-2
words.
is good, man.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Jeremy, help us out, man. How do you make sense of this fourth quarter?
The only sense I can make of this is DT spirit is stronger than Russell Wilson's curse. That's how I got to feel about it. Because Russell Wilson back in the building for 3 quarters, I was like, he's cursing us, man. There's some negative energy here, and the forces are brewing. And DT said, nope, not gonna happen on my day. And I don't know. I mean, we learned a lot of things yesterday, and one of them is this team doesn't quit, even when your captain and defensive player of the year said, I thought it was over. He had resigned himself that we were going to lose. The other guys didn't. And I think we learned that we're better up tempo. I think we learned that, you just got to keep playing, and I love the fact that there's been so many years in this past 10 that you even get down 1 score. You're like, it's over. We're not coming back from that. Now it's like, well, we're only down 19 in the 4th. You know what I mean? Like
with 5 minutes left too.
Yeah,
with literally 5 minutes.
We're good. It's gonna happen. So, and it wasn't even like we were like rushing.
Yeah.
It was like we weren't like, oh, get out of bounds, do this, do that. It was just like, yeah, we're not even gonna call a timeout. Yeah, the clock's running. Yeah. It just, I don't know. That game seemed to last forever. It was weird.
Yeah.
It was weird that we took everybody's like, okay, that game turned on the Stranad interception. But then it was like, we still scored with like 2 minutes left. And then there's 2 more possessions after that. So like, I don't know. We had so much, that game just, it was bizarre. Yeah. And it was so nice that we were on the right side of a walk-off field goal. I mean, and that's just a historic one. We talked about it yesterday, me and Mark, and that just felt like that's one of those ones we're going to think back hopefully 10 years from now and be like, do you remember that Giants game where you were, because that's how big it was.
Yeah, I remember where I was. I was recording a hate video for our Denver Broncos, man. I was so sick going into that fourth quarter. And just for all the reasons that you guys laid out. I mean, this game meant so much to us. Then you add the fun trash talk and everything behind that. It's like, it was despicable. It was embarrassing. And maybe it really was just the jet lag, just no longer a thing in the fourth quarter. Like everybody woke up. All of a sudden there was urgency. But yeah, I still gave up after their tipped pass touchdown, after our tipped pass touchdown. Man, it was insane. I'm just like, man, this just isn't the game. And I come back right after the Sternad touchdown, man. And I'm like, oh my God, I got to private this video. I think I'll make it live again later this week where I'm just trashing everybody. I'm so just, disgusted with everybody. And then, man, what do we see? We see this offense start to make amazing plays. Just such a contrast from the first quarter, and particularly like those first few drives. Cortland Sutton, everybody and their mama is dropping a pass. And what do we see in the fourth quarter? It's just darts only from Bo Nix. And Cortland Sutton coming down with huge contested catches. That huge big-time catch to set up the game-winning field goal. He had other huge ones throughout the fourth. Marvin Mims coming up with a couple of big-time contested catches. And I remember last year, I forget which game it was, but there was a route that he ran, I think at the end of the first half, and it was very similar to where it was kind of like up the seam, but he didn't time like looking around, turning back for the ball, and it just looked like he was loafing the route, man. Like I was like really pissed off. And to compare that or contrast it to what we saw now out of Marvin Mims is he's somebody that can get these contested catches, even though he's like 5'11", 6 feet. Coming down with that pass was huge. Shout out to the Giants, man. They got a good quarterback, but they got some terrible coaching, man. They got awful coaching, dude. If they just run that ball on 3rd and 5 instead of having Jackson Dart throw that ball, it's like, dude. And I think on the other possession after that, I think there was another drive in which they punted on 3rd and something, and they threw it. to bring about fourth down. You just run it once, man. Force us to use another one of those timeouts. This game's over, man. But hey, good teams find a way to win. Good teams find a way to beat the trash refs on that last drive by the Giants. Dude, that was gifted by the refs. I am convinced that was gifted by the refs. The only thing that I'm pissed off about is us giving up that 4th and 17, man. The line seemed to be a little bit ahead. The yellow line on the broadcast, it was like a yard ahead of like where the sticks were at. So I think it was pretty close to where he caught it.
He was close.
He was absolutely short.
You think he was short?
Oh, no doubt about it. Even when they showed the replay, the thing is it didn't matter.
Have them drive all the way down the field, dude. That John Franklin Myers penalty, the Riley Moss. What were you more disgusted with, guys?
Oh, the Riley, but both of them.
Well, and the 2 damn dropped interceptions, they kept running into each other. I literally was like, dude, what is this Super Bowl 32 all over again? Like, obviously we won that year, but we kept
knocking each other out. Like Sertan's got about to get the pick, he runs into Jaquan, and then down the seam it was like I think it was Brandon Jones and Hufanga or somebody. I mean, I'm like, guys, somebody just call the ball, But the Riley Moss one was so bad.
You can't.
Like
he had terrible calls against him, man.
It wasn't even pass interference if it was the first play of the game. It was as clean as it could get. So it's like, what are these guys supposed to do at this point?
Put on a different jersey.
And thank God the Broncos, like, I don't think they actually wanted to let them score. I think that the Giants just scored, which it's like, come on, Sean, you got to be smart, dude. What are the odds you're going to stop them 4 times in a row? Let them score. You got to get this ball back. All you need is a field goal. So that all worked out, but it was literally 3 games in one. It was a horrible game. It was an unbelievable comeback. It was a horrible game again. And then it was 4 games pretty much in one is what it felt like. Crazy. Literally historic. I don't think we'll ever witness anything like that as it pertains to the Broncos in our lifetimes. So amazing stuff.
I would think that, but I lived through the Elway years, and that was like his regular move. It was like, oh, we're down 19 in the 4th. Like, we'll score 3 touchdowns in 3 consecutive drives, and something crazy will happen. We saw Tebow time. We saw Peyton Manning against the Chargers in 2012. Things happen, but like, you have to appreciate it when they happen because it is rare for sure.
Yeah.
The one thing I was so annoyed with all day today is like the national media, the was biased, being like, oh, well, Jackson Dart did a great job leading his team down the field. It's like, he didn't do crap. Like, are you kidding me? Like, he got gifted everything. Okay, you could say he did a good job of like scoring that touchdown by leaning out. Maybe he did that. It was a good pass. The 4th and 17 was a good pass, but like, he was gifted everything. And he should have thrown 2 picks minimum. It's like, no, do not try to be like Bo Nix and Jackson Dart are like same clutch level at all. Like, one collapsed and got completely gifted something, and the other person had to overcome everything with no timeouts. So yeah,
he completed 1 pass on that drive.
Yeah, he completed 1 pass, and he extended out, which was a good job by him. But like, he should have had 2 picks, and they should have been turnover on downs twice.
I know, man. And it was weird, like, seeing everybody's post-game interview, like Bo Nix, Pastor Dan, like these guys, all of them seem to be just kind of in shock as well. Like, they like fully couldn't even believe themselves that they made that kind of comeback. And that's what's so weird is that it's like they were just not going through the motions, but they were just going out and playing ball, and they happened to score 33 points.
Well, did you hear what Bo Nix said after the game too? He was like, he said, I was, they asked him like, like what was going on through your mind, in the 4th quarter before the comeback. He said, I was worried about having to answer questions for you guys if we got shut out.
Yeah.
Like, he was literally just like, I just don't want to shut out, and they all just took it 1 play at a time. And like I said, everything that needed to happen. happened perfectly. And the fact that we won this game in regulation too is even more insane.
No, man. I know. Yeah, shout out, guys. I didn't even know this until after the game to listen to some Giant shows. Dude, that kicker they had from Rutgers, I guess he's like an international guy.
Yeah, he's
that's
Irish.
an extra guy on their practice squad that they elevated for some reason over Younghoe Koo.
Yeah,
They have on
crazy.
the practice squad. Dude, this guy wasn't even a starting kicker in college last year.
Yeah.
That is insane. He lost his job his senior year because he was so bad at Rutgers. And that right there is a fireable offense from Joe Shane, dude, or whatever his name is. Just completely unacceptable at the NFL level to trot out a guy that has no business being on an NFL field like that. That is insane. Absolutely insane, man. And well, I know you talked about this, Mark, about how the team, they just went out and played ball, and then they scored 33 points. They came back and they're just like, I don't know how we did it, but hey, like we just took it as the next play. So I'm curious. We can start with you, Jeremy. Is like, what is this team's deal with like playing with no urgency or aggressiveness until the absolute last moment in which they have to turn it on, man? Like this has to be turned around. They got the capacity. They've proven it time and time again. When you got to play your best ball, they will. But is this on the travel? Is this jet lag? Is this, the Giants had more time to prepare, more time off? Like, how do you get out of these just funks of just, it is sometimes like Tebow level, like first half unwatchable, Nathaniel Hackett, Russell Wilson, unwatchable football in these last two first halves?
Yeah, I don't know, but I have some theories. I was thinking about it, and to me, it feels like somebody who's doing too much thinking. Like we're too many subs.
Mm-hmm.
What's the play call? Where are you supposed to be? What's this? Okay, you're gonna the guys over here. Okay, it's almost like we're overthinking ourselves, and it's just somebody's like not catching it. There's drop balls. There's just little things that are off. But then when like the time comes where they're just like, okay, it's now or never, just go play. Here's the play call. Go run the route. I'll throw it. And there's no thinking, and it's just reaction and it's tempo. Look at them go. Like they can't be stopped. And it's not just a fluke thing. If this was just one time, it'd be like, okay, we don't know. They just did the exact same game in Philadelphia. The exact same game. So like that should tell you that it's not by chance that happened. Like it's literally, you need to figure out what is the mental block there, because it's penalties, it's drop passes, it's missed blocks. It just feels like everybody's thinking, if you think you stink, and
Mm-hmm.
if you just play, when these guys finally get a chance to just play, they can't be stopped. So that's the adjustment that needs to be made. And I know that's I love Sean Payton for Bo Nix, but the big caveat with that is Sean Payton loves substitutions. He loves to micromanage every little detail. And he wants this personnel group against this. He wants to set it up. And sometimes that works great, but he's overdoing it. And he needs to figure out a balance where he can just let these guys get good at something and just go out and do it. Because I honestly feel like there's some sort of like, I gotta run exactly this and that, and it's just stifling everything.
Yeah, Mark, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I mean, it's just such a combination of things, man. And I feel like there gets a point where when we're talking about it in the past, it's like there's still things they need to gel. There's still development. There's all these guys still need to get to work together. But we're at the point of the season now where it's just an excuse at more point, at some point. And I feel like what it really is that everything, the way that Sean Payton runs his offense, everything has to be perfect for it to be really good. Everything has to be perfect. Like you're talking about all the wide receiver screens and that stuff. We've seen them, like when they're blocked well, they're super effective, but it's got to be perfect. It has to be a well-timed ball by Bo Nix. It's got to have 4 guys blocking their 4 guys very, very well. There's just too many things that are needing to be perfect. And it almost feels like he's coaching this team because he feels like just one-on-one talent. There's like a talent deficiency, but it's absolutely not the case. So I just feel like, just like Jeremy had said, man, there's way too much thinking and complexities for no reason. And, we need to be able to have staple plays that we can always go to. We need to be creative out of the way in which we run the football. Like, I like some of the Marvin Mims runs and stuff that we mixed in a little bit, but you see it in these spurts. And then whether it's a penalty or, a mental mistake, because as Jeremy said, everyone's thinking too much, or, a drop. I mean, everything was always just happening so untimely. And the only thing that you can really attribute that to is that nobody's really relaxed and just playing. There's like a million things going on across the board, and there's just the culmination of that. So it's got to change. I think Sean Payton has to realize that there was a lot of things that worked very well when Drew Brees was his quarterback, but Bo Nix is a very different style of quarterback than Drew Brees. It doesn't mean that they can't run a lot of the same things, but he has to be more open and willing to call everything to Bo Nix's strengths and give him a little bit more power in terms of what they're going to run, what they're going to put into the game plan. And I think it'll make everybody a lot more confident as well. But it has to change. There's no way the Broncos can continue to play games and win games like this. I mean, it was a historic comeback, but in order to make history, you have to be historically bad. And that's exactly what we were for 55 minutes of the game. And we can't forget that. So I think it's important that we need to figure it out, because I'll be honest, if it's not vastly better than it's been for, 10 out of the last 12 quarters that we've played, we are going to get beat pretty badly at home by the Cowboys that are coming to town this week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we need to start with that same sort of urgency, man. That same sort of urgency. And I know, like, I feel like we get it after every game. And hey, when you play a half or 3 quarters of just terrible offensive football, like, I understand why people are like, Sean Payton. I think he even had to answer questions about that today. Sean Payton giving up play calling. I think, again, when he stops thinking, when he takes the pressure off, when he stops getting so complicated and just simplifies things, the play calling is great, man. You get big plays downfield. And I want to say, like, too, like, we saw some play designs there in the fourth quarter that it's like not any of these other offensive coordinators that we've had over the handful of years since Peyton Manning, who essentially was the offensive coordinator, has been able to do here, man. One, the play design to Garrett Bowles was beautiful in the red zone. That thing was set up perfectly. Bo Nix, again, this is an issue that we need to correct. Another batted pass. I think he must have been 5 or 6. If you're looking at the game yesterday, he has been atrocious at that the entire year. It's something that he has to fix. That was beautiful play design, though, from Sean Payton. The other one was that designed quarterback run that put us ahead there in the fourth quarter. A beautiful play to where you pull out, I think it was Bowles, and you have one of the receivers, I think it might have been Sutton, cracking down on Kayvon Thibodeau. Dude, perfect design, man. Like, those are the types of things it's like remind me of, like, oh yeah, like, this is how good Sean Payton can be, right? But I think right now probably the quickest fix is like what they did going into Tampa Bay last year, where you needed to spark the offense getting hot first. They went up tempo. They went, I think, with one, package on that first drive, essentially, and drove down the field and scored. And again, you're like you brought up, Mark Jeremy, you got to get these guys thinking less, because when they just go out and play ball, they can put up 33 points in a quarter if they play that loose, right? Everybody's coming down with contested catches. But I think that, we need to. It is imperative for us to get off to a really hot start against the Cowboys, man, because I'm pretty sure they have the best offense in the NFL, and
by quite a bit.
Yeah, so I'm not saying you got to do that the whole game though. Like I like the jumbo sets and all that sort of stuff. Like it's nice when it's brought in, but I don't know if that can be your base right now with what works for this offense and for Bo Nix, man. And two, like I think that maybe you brought this up, Mark, about RJ Harvey kind of being treated like Jaleel McLaughlin was over the last couple of years right now, or maybe that was you, Jeremy. I can't remember. About how he's kind of a tell right now for the offense, for the defense. On like when he's in, you just kind of know he's getting the ball. And can we give him some looks? Some run looks under center. I'm talking a lot. You guys got any thoughts to respond to that?
No, go ahead, Jeremy.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, one thing Kodiak said is he really wanted us to mention was RJ Harvey, like, not getting. He feels disappointed that he's a 24-year-old rookie running back and he's just not being utilized right now. And I get that. I think it's because Sean just wants to throw the ball every single time. And how many times have we talked about that? And I think the only person he trusts to run any play right now is Dobbins because of the pass pro, but that's just not going to develop RJ like the way we need to. So I totally agree. He needs to be on the field more. He needs to get more opportunities to pass pro because right now he is a tell. And Sean, yeah, I just feel like Sean right now, he's like, if he was a director of a movie, he'd be M. Night Shyamalan, where it's like, I'm setting everything up for this big twist and I'm going to trick everybody. And it's like, I don't need that. Just do a good movie. Just give me Christopher Nolan, give me Scorsese, just be good every play. You don't need to rewrite everything, and he's doing that with his personnel groups and it's setting tells. And he's doing that with like, hey, we're going to be tricky over here, but this is going to set up something later. And he's like, just let him drop back and throw it. Just run the ball normal. You don't need to be overthinking it. We're good enough to be just go out and play and we're better than them. Just play, just do that. Like, you know what I mean? And somebody has to, that's the biggest problem. And, Doug in the chat even said, somebody has to reach out to him and be like, can we just be a little more regular? I think that will cure a lot of issues because nobody can tell him anything, and I get it, but the look on his face after those first three quarters was embarrassed. He was so distraught, and I almost feel like he wasn't happy after that game because it was like, I don't know. The first thing he said was, we can't forget what happened those first three quarters. He was still pissed off about that.
Which I'm glad.
Which he should be. And he even mentioned a stat, like, I think teams are like 2-15 after big comeback wins. So like, he's like, we have to guard against that coming into the Giant or the Cowboy game. So it was bad enough that I think they need to focus and correct things, but like, I just hope he gets the message somehow, some way. And I don't know if that's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. We can't see things behind closed doors, right? So it's really just kind of like what we're shown on the sidelines. None of us are right on the sidelines, like at the game or anything. So it's just the broadcast. But we know Bo Nix will talk back to Sean Payton. We know he'll give Sean Payton a piece of his mind, right? Yep. And maybe this needs to be a little bit more collaborative in the week leading up to the game, with how the offense is called and game planned for going into these matchups. Because, hopefully the 3 quarters of some of the worst football I've seen, man, in a while will be enough of an embarrassment to get Sean Payton to just look at the results, man. Again, you've seen us in fourth quarters be fantastic on offense. You can't deny that right now. So they got to do a way to bring that type of energy and that type of play calling into the first halves. No doubt about it. So I like what the patient said here. Calling runs for Bo early seems to get him in the game. Yep. And I think we did have some designed runs, like when you go back to Bo's rookie year last year, like again, against the Buccaneers. I think that's a great example of just how they got the offense into a flow early on, and there were some designed runs for him. So, yeah. And Bo does a good job of avoiding contact. So I think you can call more of those, right, Mark?
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, no doubt about it. There's just a lot of things that you can point to, right? Like, you just got to be more strategic with like when you call these complicated Sean Payton plays, like against, very specific looks or anything like that. And just kind of being on the same page of like, okay, we talked about this look. Let's go with this play. You can do that at certain times, but for the most part, it's got to be let's just get a couple first downs, and then we can worry about all that other stuff. But let's just get going a little bit. Let's just get everybody kind of hyped up, staying into the game. As regards to Harvey, go back to RJ. I mean, I haven't really had a problem with like how RJ Harvey's looked. I just think he hasn't been used a lot, which I think is fine because J.K. Dobbins has been really good. And you don't want to find yourself in the same position last year where you can't really figure out which running back is going to get into a groove. The only really big concern that I have is that if anything happens to J.K. Dobbins, there's a huge question mark.
Yes.
We have no idea how he's going to look in that role, but I think J.K. has been fine. I mean, I think he's been picking up things really, really well. Yes, he's still a rookie. The fact that he's 24 doesn't really make any difference. He actually hasn't played running back for very long. So I feel like he's made some strides, but would like to see him utilized as more of a traditional running back than anything else. And put JK and him on the field at the same time. That's a pretty damn good mismatch to have in the backfield constantly. I mean, you do it a lot with JK and Marvin Mims in the back.
Yeah.
Put RJ back there and play some different looks off of that as well. So that's something that I can get behind.
It's like our offensive weaponry has improved so much this year. And it's like, especially in these first halves, we're choosing, instead of putting Cortland, Mims, Troy, Evan Ingram, JK and RJ all on the field, right? We're throwing out a bunch of plays, having Adam Troutman, Prentice, Root Beer Atkins all on the field. It's like, dude, what are we doing? We're not even getting our best athletes onto the field half the time. And I think that's an issue. Like you said, like some of that stuff is great situationally, but it almost feels like, again, this is I don't know, I'm sure there's a real term for this, but it's like when the genius is like, too smart for his own good, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
No, like and a lot of it too with Sean is like, he'll run these wide receiver screens. I mean, the play calling yesterday's game was the first real time I was like, all right, I have an issue with this. Because it was like he was doing way too much of the same thing. And you can tell that they saw something in the Giants defense that like their cornerbacks were vulnerable or they weren't maybe good tacklers. And they felt like they could have, broken a tackle on one of those screens and taken to the house. Okay, fine. Once it doesn't work the first two times, let's just go away from that. Maybe we fake it, and then we run something else off it, or we just stop doing that. But to consistently do it, consistently get stuffed, and then to do it at fourth down and goal at the 1 yard line. That was kind of my nail in the coffin. Like, all right, Sean, you are doing the opposite of cooking right now as a play caller. And a lot of times he always talks about, we call one play, and even though we know it's not going to be successful, it's to set something else up. But it's like, dude, you're putting so much, like all your eggs in one basket in hopes that the play that you're calling to set up hits, And so it's just like there's a time and place for those things. You kind of just have to roll though. So.
Yeah. How you don't throw into the end zone on 4th and goal. It drove me out of my mind. Like, you're going to do the same screen that hasn't been working. You need 2 yards, bro. Like, just 2. Shovel pass it. I don't give a crap. Just
run it 3 times,
way.
4 times in a row.
Yeah, you could have just quarterback snuck it 4 times. It would have worked. Like, oh my God, it was so infuriating. And I just wanted to say real quick, anybody who was wondering where Kodiak is, he got suspended 1 horsepower for yelling at the refs yesterday, so he couldn't make it.
for threatening the refs.
Yeah, well, yeah, he said something.
Sure, threatening the refs.
But we'll never know what.
Shall we get into some like stock up, stock down? I guess right now, Sean Payton, stock down. I'm sorry, Sean Payton. We wouldn't be in that situation if it wasn't for your play calling, man. Thank God you woke up in the fourth quarter. But maybe we go here for 10 minutes for a little bit, and then end with some hold your horses or giddy up.
Sure.
Sound good?
Sounds
Anybody have one they really want to get off their chest?
Are we doing stock up or stock down, or are we just doing one?
Either one.
Brad Allen, is that his name?
Yeah.
Stock to the freaking as down as it gets. Terrible. It's crazy because like the whole team was stock down and then the entire team was stock up.
Right.
I know.
It's really weird, right? When you think about it. I felt like I don't know. One of my stock ups is Q Robinson.
Dude, yeah.
We talked about it a little in the post game. I thought Q, man, every time I don't know how many snaps he played, but I felt like every time he was playing, you kind of felt him out there. I thought he played really well. I loved the energy. Thought he was really good against the run, which is the biggest surprise. Like I felt like he was almost taking over the Jonah Ellis role, where he'd come rush the passer on like the early downs and like the run downs, and thought he did great. I thought Jonah Ellis played really well. Alex Pelcheski, man, the guy is like, he's like, dude, just put me wherever the hell you need me, and I'm gonna play well. I thought he was awesome. It was really nice to not have any holding calls from that position. So those are my two stock ups, aside from the obvious ones that all contributed to the comeback, which there's a lot, but those are two I definitely wanted to mention.
Yeah. Q Robinson with the tackle for loss. He should have had 2 TFLs if it wasn't for a bogus defensive holding call. Come on now. It didn't have anything to do with the play either. And a half a sack as well. So he was great. Hopefully we get Jonah Ellis back next week for the Cowboys, man. But him and Dondre Tillman, I'll piggyback on the edge group right now. I thought Dondre Tillman, again, when we can play a game, and I wasn't even thinking about, man, we really miss Jonah Ellis. That's not a shot at Jonah Ellis. That's just a testament to how deep this edge room is. I thought they played tremendously in their spot duty roles on the edge position. Jeremy, who do you got?
Yeah, I got a second. The refs stock down. That was unbelievable. Even all their touchdowns, though, like the first 2 touchdowns they scored were the most blatant holding calls against like our pass rushers I've ever seen, and just nothing. I was beside myself. I don't know. Maybe it was like fate had to have us go down and for us to come back just for like, the DT moment, all the things. But I didn't understand what was happening. I kept telling my wife, I don't know what's going on right now. Like
they have 32 penalty yards, dude.
Yeah.
The New York Giants.
Right. It was insane. Crazy. It was insane. And it was like every time they'd come up, rip off a big play, it was like there was an obvious call that they just ignored. All right, I'm done with the refs, but that was so insane. I'll say stock down ourselves, self-inflicted again. The penalties, the drop passes, you can't have it. Just overall as a full team, tighten it up. Like, let's go. Like, I just don't understand why. There was balls hitting guys in the face mask yesterday. Like, Atkins had a drop. He's usually sure-handed. Like, Cortland always has a drop early. Always. It is like clockwork.
It's always first target.
Always first target. Just get it out of the way. First play, throw it to Cortland, have him drop it.
Throw your screens then. That's when you want to throw your first play of the game. Throw a screen, let him drop it, move on.
Yeah, seriously. And but yeah, hopefully we can figure out a way to like tighten all that up, because that shouldn't, even if you're thinking, you shouldn't be dropping passes. You're professional ball catchers out there. Like, let's catch the ball. Troy had one. There was just so many yesterday.
Dude, Atkins had one.
Yeah.
Did Ingram have a drop? I can't remember.
I think Pat Bryant had 2. He's a stock down for me.
Pat Bryant did, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he's usually really sure-handed. So I don't know what was up, but you just stock down overall on just like the minor details. We've shot ourselves in the foot so many times. We have like no toes left. You know, like we've used them all up for the rest of the year. Let's just get on the same page and let's go.
We're like a cat with 9 lives, right? And
we're down to 1 left.
Yeah, that's almost like how it feels, man. Mark, do you got another player that's another stock up or stock down?
No, I want to credit Jeremy for this. He mentioned this guy in the post game yesterday, is Tyler Bidet. Thought he just pops when he's on the field. He doesn't get on there a lot, but when the ball touches his hands, he does good things. So, yeah, he looked good. But yesterday it was such a strange game. It was literally an entire game in 5 minutes. So it's hard to really have true stock up, stock downs.
Yeah, I'll piggyback on Roan's here. I thought Jakub played a great game. 2 sacks. He was also held a bunch. Gotta throw that in there. But yeah, coming up with a huge sack there that should have helped seal the deal at the end of the game. He was great. And I love that you shouted out Tyler Bidet, man. What does he do when he's on the field? He always gets some sort of big third down conversion for us. It's what he does. And then he always comes up with a big time pass block. And I believe one of his pass blocks, picking up the blitz, helped Bo Nix throw one of those touchdowns there in the fourth quarter. But yeah, just solid again. And yeah, another stock down that I have, though, even though you did see him light up Cam Scatterboo once, that was beautiful. That helped, usher in the Jackson Dart interception to Justin Strnad. Alex Singleton, man, it is rough watching him play. And if Dre Greenlaw can get this suspension lifted with his appeal, which I hope will be the case, please, maybe this will be the week that we see Justin Strnad kind of take over for him. But I feel like he still played, I think, one of his better games of the year last year, and it still was not great. He's such a liability on this defense, and I'm beginning to believe that this defense will never perform at a 2015 level until he's off the field. So I love the leadership that he brings, but once Dre Greenlaw can go, I'd like to see him on the field a lot less and not starting.
Maybe on special teams.
Yeah.
He was amazing in special teams. Put him back on special teams. We can use him there.
But it was rough, man. And yeah, I think he led the team in tackles like he normally does, but yeah, just a liability there with against those tight ends and whatnot. I know Hufanga didn't have a great game either, but yeah, watching Alex Singleton, it ain't good.
If I do stock up, just to piggyback on the Tyler Bidet thing. There was one play that's just specifically pops out in my mind that's going to be forgotten in the history books, but it was that 3rd and 5 little dump off. He had to break a tackle and then dive for it. And that's just something we hadn't seen from literally anybody from our team, just the awareness and just the being down 3 scores at that point and just being like, F you guys, I'm getting this attitude was just so big for this team. Cause it was well, he hasn't given up. So I just loved that. And it just started to snowball after that 3rd and 5 pickup. Sean Payton kind of downplayed this player a little bit this week, and he just went out and made the biggest play of the game, and it was Justin Strnad. He was like, yeah, take it easy. Yeah, he's had 3.5 sacks, whatever, but it's early. And then he just went out and made another huge play. And that's the play that I think mentally got everybody being like, oh, this isn't over. We have a chance now. Even if he knocks it down and they punt, I just feel like the whole vibe would have been different. I think the stadium was energized by it. I think the zone team was energized by it. And that's just the one thing we haven't been able to do with this defense is turn the ball over. And for him to get that in that moment and to understand where he needed to be and to get there and make that play was humongous. So huge play by Justin Strnad.
Mm-hmm. You got anything left, Mark?
No, not. I don't think so, man. You guys covered it. I think just a quick note. Like, that's why I love running backs that are undrafted guys that like clawed their way onto these teams, because you can just see it's something different with Bidet. Like every opportunity he gets, he knows he has to maximize it. It's kind of like what Philip Lindsay was like for the Broncos a few years ago. So yeah, I think he deserves his flowers, because it's the guy's been on like practice squads for years, man, and like finally actually gets an opportunity to be, he finally got his opportunity last year to be the starter, and he breaks his back, and then he ends up getting another chance. But you can just see every single touch for him is like extremely important. So just a little love there to Tyler Bidet, even though he changed his name up on us in the middle of everything. So
he's changed it twice apparently. That's the second time he's changed it. That's what I've heard.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So like the dude just
honestly, it's kind of smart. I feel like it's the thing with this new generation. Like they'll be like, "Oh, my name's actually pronounced like this," after like so many times, and because it gets people talking about him. Like Bijan Robinson, I remember everyone called him Bijan, and then in the draft he was like, "It's Bijan," and then a couple weeks ago on Monday Night Football, there he was like, "It's Bijan Robinson." And you're like, "Okay, bro, which one is it?"
Yeah.
But it's smart, because then we all keep talking about it, and hey, there you go.
Yeah.
Last shout out I'll give is Will Lutz, man.
Yep.
He missed that kick against the Colts, and he's been money ever since. Will Lutz. I was confident when Bo Nix got that ball at the end of the game, he would give us a field goal attempt. I was not confident in the field goal make, but Will Lutz did it, man.
I wasn't confident. I wasn't worried about Will missing. I was worried about it getting blocked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something.
Or like the snap.
Bad snap or something.
Yeah. But I don't know if I could have gone on YouTube if that field goal was blocked after everything.
And honestly, dude, thank God that their kicker missed. I mean, they missed 2 extra points, but he missed that other one, because I actually don't think I could have handled overtime. Yeah. Like I genuinely was like not okay by the time that game was done.
I was telling Mark, just standing there, pacing in my living room, I could feel my heart pounding. Like,
yes,
if I had a heart issue, you wouldn't have seen me today, because it was fully going active. I was like, it was crazy. My last down, then huge up is Bo Nix. Like, I don't even think he played that bad. There was a lot of drops. There was a lot of penalties. I think there was a lot of things. I don't like the play calls a lot of the ways early in the game, but he should have hit Garrett Bowles. He should have floated it over the top. He shouldn't have tried to like throw it hard in there. He did have way too many. I don't know what you want him to do for like the batted passes. Like, that's one of those things where once you kind of get a rep for it, then they're like, okay, start jumping for everything. And then it kind of like multiplies on itself.
It's like a pitcher, I feel like, tipping his pitches. Like, that's almost like how often it's occurring that I'm wondering if there's like a certain tell that he has.
Well, the tell is that he's on time. That's his tell. Like, there's very few quarterbacks that are like drop back and he's going to throw it at the same time every time, which is a good thing.
Yes.
But it can be one of those things where it's like, we know the ball's coming out. He's hard to sack because the ball's out on time. But because the ball's out on time, in the back of your head, he's about to throw it. So that's up to the offensive lineman getting up in. If you're not up on there into their chest, they're able to put their hands up. You have to punish them for jumping up. And we weren't doing a good job on that. But that being said, that fourth quarter, again, like, he was as cool as the other side of the pillow, as Stuart Scott used to say. Like, I mean, there was one where he missed one. I mentioned this to Mark. There's one where he missed one to Troy yesterday, and it's in the clutch. We're down like 2 scores, and he just laughed, and he's just like, "Oh, that was me. That was my bad. I thought you were doing this." And it was like, there was no pressure on him whatsoever. He was so happy to be up tempo and just like, let's just call plays and let's just run them, and we're good. And that, the most clutch thing, I would have been personally devastated when they got that touchdown and we got the ball back with 30 seconds left with no timeouts and you have to drive. We didn't even get we didn't even get to start at the 35. We got it at like the 23.
Yeah.
So it was basically it was like the old school rules. And he was just like, I got this. Even the way he spiked the ball and then threw it back at the ref, like, yep, that's another day at the office. Like, I just drove us down and, no problems. I just the man is he's just a gamer and has no nerves. You know what I mean? Like he is just that's what it is. Anybody who says anything about his clutchness, I'm sorry, but that is a hard thing to do what he just did, and to not overthink it in the moment and not to rush anything and throw a pick. How many times with former quarterbacks these last 10 years have we had a guy who was like, we're almost coming back, and then they do something stupid, and then it was like, oh, we blew it. Yep. And it just didn't happen. And it didn't happen against Philly. And so, yeah, big one on him. That's a big win for him. Really is. That's a legendary win. Nobody in the history of the NFL has ever run for 2 touchdowns and passed for 2 touchdowns in a quarter, ever.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Scoring drives. Yeah.
It's insanity. It's insanity.
Yeah. Jeremy, as we close this out, do you have like a couple hold your horses, giddy ups for us?
Yeah. Let's do. All right. Let's go with David first here.
Okay.
Let's say, did the offense figure out their problems yesterday?
No. No, because they've already known the solution to their problems.
Some of us have, yeah.
So that's hold your horses. I think they already know what they do well. Can they stop being so stubborn? Mainly Sean Payton.
Yep. I think I agree with you, because Sean is, what makes him great is his just unwillingness to like relent in any situation, but also that's a double-edged sword. Yes. And that can work against you. And right now it's working against him. He has to figure out some sort of like pressure valve for these guys. And
he needs to learn, honestly, from Dan Campbell, it's not his disciple. Is Sean Payton his disciple? I always forget.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
I don't know if Sean Payton's his disciple or if it's the other way around.
Dan Campbell's part of the Sean Payton coaching tree.
Yeah. And he needs to learn something from Sean Payton. He can learn something from the Eagles of like, this is who we are. And like, we're going to simplify things and we're just going to do it better than you guys. Like, we're just going to be better than you, Yeah. Like the Eagles will push 4 times in a row. They don't care. They're like, stop us. And Dan Campbell's like, I'm going for it on 4th and I'm going to run the ball probably or I'm going to throw it to St. Brown, and you guys know this, and we're going to do it, and we're still going to do it better. Yep. He needs to have a little bit of that in his game. Like, just trust that we're better and we can do things better.
Yeah. There's a great movie from the 90s called Blue Chips. Nick Nolte is like a head coach of a college basketball team. And it was about kind of like the paying players and how to like recruit players under the table and all that stuff. But there's a scene when he's coaching a team that's not living up to the standards that he wants because they're not as talented as he wants. But he gives a speech, and in the speech he says, the other teams wanting to know what we're about to do. He's like, well, I'll give them the plays and I'll tell them exactly what we're going to do, because it's not what you do, it's how you do it. And that's how Sean needs to do it.
Yep.
It doesn't matter about tells. It doesn't matter anything. Philadelphia Eagles, when it's 4th down and it's short, everybody in the world knows it's the tush push is coming and there's nothing you can do about it. And that's how you need to be. You need to develop a team that just says the 97-98 Broncos, we were going to run it with Terrell Davis. We were going to do zone running, and there's nothing you can do about it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Every time
and obviously you adjust this.
We're throwing it.
Yep.
Yeah. And that is one thing that we have, right? But it's like it never goes in until it's until we're down 14. Maybe we should just start every game, put the clock in the 4th quarter, go down like 10, 14 points, and that's how the game should start.
Yeah.
And we'll average, because I was doing the math yesterday because I was bored. If we scored in every quarter like we do in the 4th quarter, we would average 40 points a game.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I was listening to Mace, and he said that I think we're the second to worst offense in the first 3 quarters. And in the 4th quarter, if you just did that over the full thing, we'd be tied for 2nd in the NFL. Yeah. So the variance is insane. And that should tell him a lot. I'm sorry, but you have to like look at those things. That's not by accident. That's not by chance. Okay. Second question from Mark here. Legitimately, do the refs have something against Sean Payton? Do you believe that?
I mean, I don't think the refs do. No, I'd say hold your horses on that. I think Roger Goodell might. But I feel like this is what I kind of noticed. I think you're always going to be a little bit biased when really bad calls happen to your team. It's because you pay attention a lot more to your team than anybody else. Like, I don't think that they hate Sean Payton. I just think, I don't know. I just think Sean Payton has a lot of, he has like bad karma with the refs. I don't know what I've heard, and I don't know if he does it more often than other coaches, but I've heard that he sends a lot of like complaint videos because the league office asks coaches and owners to do that. Like, send videos of plays that you felt like were bad so we can review them. They probably don't even review them. But I heard he sends like quite a bit, like, what's this, what's that, like trying to get an understanding. So I don't know if maybe that rubs him the wrong way. And maybe if he's really rude to them, which it doesn't seem like he is, except for yesterday when he freaked out, then there could be. But I don't know. I think that would be too
conspiratorial.
Not necessarily conspiratorial. I guess so. It's just like, I don't really have any basis to back that up, aside from the fact that, like,
except for years
I just get
of
really
evidence.
irritated with the same shit.
Yeah.
But
what do you think, David? Do you think it's legit, or you think it's just chances over and
Giddy
over?
up. I'm starting to believe that these refs freaking hate Sean Payton, man. I'm starting to believe that there is at least a slight bias towards, again, man, like, yeah, Sean Payton will let these guys know. And who do you like? Do you ever see head coaches giving penalties like that? I know he ran on the field. But like, I'm sure Nick Sirianni's done crazy stuff like that too. I don't think he gets flags like that. Yeah. When you were saying earlier, hey, look at like all these big calls and big games, close games. It always seems like they go against his favor.
Yep.
Especially like in the Saints and all these playoff runs, man. I don't know. It is incredibly subjective, Mark. You're right, because we only pay attention to what we follow.
it does seem to happen at the absolute worst times.
Like the leverage call, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The leverage call
Has
is
leverage
just
been
like,
called outside of that on a game winning?
No, and I know there's so many examples of leverage. There was a game I was watching the other day that ended on a kick. And I was literally watching for it. And the guy grabs onto the center and lifts himself up. And they're not going to call it, except for when it's a 60-yarder in Indianapolis. Yeah, that one still bothers me. But it does seem like it's always at the worst times. Like even like our linemen, like let's say Garrett Bowles will hold twice in a row, just as an example. They won't call it on like first down in the first quarter, second down in the second quarter. But like if he did it the same thing in the fourth quarter with 2 minutes left and we converted a huge third down, then they would call it. It's kind of what it seems like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't get how you can bring the New York Giants in here, man. They're a trash team coming into this. I mean, I know they got some new, but dude, they're a 2-5 football team, man, and only 32 yards of penalties, dude. And like on that screen, I think it was a screen that went for a touchdown at some point in the game. Dude, they had guys blocking like 7 yards downfield before the ball was even out of Dart's hand, man. That's textbook illegal man downfield.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like
so many holding calls they didn't call.
It was
it was even at the point where like the announcers were like, "Oh yeah, I think this one's on the Giants for illegal shift or something like that," and then they'll be like, "Holding defense," and they're like, "Oh, never mind." It's like they'll just call something
they're
different.
just silent. The broadcast yesterday, they were just silent with all these like bad calls, man. They didn't even say anything about this Riley Moss penalty. Again, that's what I'm thinking. Like, man, there's something wrong. There's something wrong and biased, man, because the rep that was closest to the Riley Moss play, he didn't even throw the flag. It was that loser from the opposite side of the field throwing the flag, man.
And I was waiting for it, dude. I was waiting for the flag to be thrown.
So was I.
And the funniest part is, do you ever notice when they don't bring in like Gene Steratore or
Yes.
whatever the hell. Whenever they don't bring him in,
Preach.
they know that
Yep.
it's a bad call. So they're like, oh, we're not going to bring Gene in to come here and have to like
Yep.
lie. Because
Yep.
sometimes he'll come up with the most, like the stupidest. He's like, yeah, by definition, it's a foul. It's like, dude, okay, that happens every single play.
Yeah.
They always try to like
rest
justify
that
it.
Bears
But yeah,
Commanders
if they
game
don't
last
bring in Gene Steratore, then it's an obviously a bad call.
And I had a big problem with the crew yesterday who were doing the game. They 100% were again. And I'm not one of those people. A lot of people hated Chris.
Trent Green
Collinsworth.
hates us. I think
Trent
it's
Green hates
He's a
the Denver
cheat.
Broncos. There's no
He's a
doubt.
jackass.
I'm sorry, but like,
And he went to bed here on that field, and I'll never forget it. And in Power Field, he got knocked out. I felt so bad. He was snoring on the 5-yard line, so he probably just hates us.
bad memories. Yeah, no, 100%. Like literally, if you go back and rewatch it, I was getting pissed throughout the whole game of like these freaking guys hate the Broncos, and they're saying they're like shaping the, because it's like not to us, we know what's going on, but the casuals were like, well, the announcer said like it was a penalty. It's like no,
Yeah.
that's bull crap. No, do not listen to that. But literally, the play-by-play announcer was like, "Oh no, he missed it!" Like I was like, "Oh no, what do you mean? Oh no!" Like you just say he missed it. What do you mean? Oh, you said. And then Trent Green, there was the one play when it was the Mims catch on the last drive where he caught it, and you can hear. I don't think he meant to be audible, but if you go back and listen to the broadcast, he goes, "Oh, he caught it." Like he says it under his breath, like, "Oh, and he caught it."
Oh,
Like,
really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He's a freaking
Wow.
like it was bad. I was like, there you go.
I do
Thank
like
you.
Kevin Harlan, though. I think Kevin Harlan.
Dude, I love
He brings
Kevin
the
Harlan.
energy. I give him that.
He's such a legend. In every sport, he's so good.
But it was just funny that he was like, oh no. But like that didn't bother me at all. But I'm just saying it's funny to hear somebody be like, oh no, the other team made a mistake. But Trent Green, and then last week, I like Rich Eisen a ton, but he's the biggest Jets fan in the world, and you're gonna have him do a Jets game? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
I mean, all right. So yeah, I don't know. All right, last question, real quick. We'll go with this to lead into the Cowboys week. How worried are you? This is for both of you. We'll go David first. How worried are you about J&J this week? Jake Ferguson, Javonte Williams.
On a scale from like 1 to 10,
Yeah.
package deal, I guess bring it down to like a 7, because I think we'll do well with the run defense. I really do think we will. But I'm incredibly worried about Jake Ferguson if we don't have Jay Greenlaw, man. I am terrified of what can happen with Jake Ferguson, man. This Cowboys offense is high flying. We're already going to have a tough matchup with George Pickens against Riley Moss. And I mean,
that's the big one.
Yeah. And Jaquan McMillan, I don't think he had that great of a game this past week. So hopefully we get a nice bounce back from him. Right. So yeah, I'm a little worried about this secondary going up against these wide receivers, honestly, like in a vacuum. Let's just hope our pass rush can get there, man. So, yeah, Javonte, congratulations to him. The right change of scenery. He's looking quicker than he ever looked here, to be honest. Really happy for him. And but I hope he has a terrible game against us next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not overly concerned about Javonte, but I'm terrified of the way that this Cowboys defense matches up against us. And I just don't think we've been nearly consistent enough on offense to be able to score with them, because the Cowboys defense is Swiss cheese. They are awful. Yes. It should be like there's no reason, just based off watching the Cowboys that I've watched, there's no reason why we shouldn't score every single opportunity we get. Their defense is horrendous. They get no pressure. They just get toasted all the time. They are dog water. So yeah, our defense is going to have to ball out.
They're front runners. Anytime they got to go under the road, they crap the bed. Unless it's the New York Jets, dude.
I can't recall a game in my life where we've lost to the Broncos, because when the last time we lost, to the Cowboys, because the last time we lost to them, I was 2. But This one worries me. I think the big one is the Riley Moss and George Pickens. This is where Riley Moss is really going to have an opportunity to shut everybody up if he goes out there, because George Pickens is a beast. And I was hoping CeeDee Lamb was not going to be back for this game, and he is, because George Pickens is PS2, no problem.
No.
But yeah, there's going to be a lot going on. But you never know, man. I mean, just like you said, Cowboys don't play as well. Outdoors. They obviously never play well here in Denver. I don't know how the weather is going to be. We're going to be looking sweet in those throwbacks. So excited about that.
Oh, we're wearing
obviously,
the
we have a chance.
Yep.
The offense is just going to have to be – the offense is going to have to carry a lot of the weight this week, because the defense is not going to just hold the Cowboys to 14 points, 17 points. I think that the offense is really going to have to get it going.
Mhm.
They announced the throwbacks are going to be 3 times this year. It's this game. It's week 10 against the Raiders, and then
In Vegas.
in Vegas.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Which is like, does that mean we're wearing I guess we're wearing the oranges. They haven't announced white throwback, so I don't know how that works, but yeah, in Vegas against
Well,
the Raiders.
because Vegas wears black at home, right?
But can they do like
So
that?
black and orange would work. I think it's pretty different.
Okay. Maybe they'll let that happen.
Dude, I hate that we're wearing it on the road for the Raiders. They got the same uniforms they've always had.
What do you mean?
You know,
Yeah.
it's not like they're gonna wear their throwbacks too. You know, like what Seattle and
Mhm.
Tampa Bay did. Like that was really cool.
Well, I think that's a part of that's why it's
Maybe
kind of
that's
cool
why.
wearing it against the Cowboys, because it like the Cowboys jerseys have always kind of been the same, so it brings back like the 80s, early 90s kind of vibe, and then
Yeah,
you get
but
the same
on
thing
the
with the
road?
Raiders. So
On
maybe
the
that's why,
road
but
with
it
the
is a little
Raiders?
bit. I was surprised by that, and then we wear them again week 18, I think.
Yeah, against the Chargers.
Now someone brought up maybe wearing them on the road against the Commanders. And that could be really cool.
That would be
Yeah,
cool.
well, that would be. They announced it though. I hope the Chargers wear that same uniform that they wore yesterday, because I don't know what was up with that, and it didn't work for them.
No.
Like, I think Adam Shine, who I don't like at all, super annoying to me, but he called them the Savannah Bananas, and I was like, yeah, that's actually correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, the all yellow it looked a little bit cooler than I thought it would, but it was a little much.
Oh, we play the Raiders here with the throwbacks.
Is it week 10? Do we play the Raiders here? Oh, okay. So maybe that's why.
Oh, okay.
I think the Broncos Twitter had it wrong, because it definitely showed.
Oh,
opposite.
yes. Yeah, because that's on Thursday Night Football in Denver. Yeah.
Okay,
That makes sense.
you're right.
That
you're
makes
right.
a lot of sense.
Okay.
You're right.
Cool. I take that back then.
Thursday
Cool.
night throwback game. That'll be good.
Cool.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'm
Horsepower
out of
down.
words, man.
It's like that game. That game
Man.
was just left me speechless. It was so hard to do the post game with Jeremy yesterday. I was like, dude, I don't even know where to even begin. Do we begin
Dude.
in 5 minutes left? Do we begin in the fourth quarter? Do we start from the beginning? I don't know.
My post game yesterday, yeah, it was just Mike and Zach Seegers and I, like we were all just in shock. So it was all over the place and so disorganized, and like
I
Zach
saw
had
it
the
'cause
wrong
you
title
guys
in
did a
there
good
and
job.
couldn't change it. Say what?
Yeah, y'all did a good job. You kind of set the agenda, like we're going to talk about the comeback, and then we're going to talk about the game. But then everyone just kept going back and forth, and it's like, I get it, because it's impossible. You have to contextualize one with the other. Like
Mhm.
it was very wild.
And you can't appreciate the comeback if you didn't have to sit through the first 3 quarters. Like,
Exactly.
it's easy to just be like, oh, just watch the fourth quarter. But I talked to 2 people. My wife's grandmother last night, she's a big Broncos fan. She was out of town. We called her after dinner last night and we're like, what'd you think of that game? She was like, oh, I can't believe they messed it up in the end. And we're like, did you watch all the way? And she's like, yeah, we lost by 3, right? I'm like, no, we did not. And then we had to explain to her what happened. And then she was like, oh, this is amazing. And then today I talked to a friend who was just like, I turned it off in the 3rd quarter. And I was like, you just can't. We're now living in an era, which I love to say, but we're living in an era where you have to watch it all now because you just don't know.
That's true. All right, guys. Well, I guess we'll shut this thing down. Want to say thank you to everybody in the comments. Please
Yes,
be
thank you.
sure to like and subscribe as always. Shout out to Profit X for sponsoring David Talks Buffs and Broncos. We'll have their plug rolling here at the end. Appreciate you guys. We'll be back next week. Go Broncos.
Go Broncos.
Want to give a quick shout out to the flagship sponsor of David Talks Buffs and David Talks Broncos YouTube channel, and that is Profit X, America's #1 sports prediction market. This is peer-to-peer sports prediction where players play against each other, like you and me, instead of a sports book versus the house. You almost always get the best odds on any play that you're looking to make. They operate in over 40 states, including Texas, where I reside. So use the promo code Dave and claim up to $200 in profit cash for all plays in the first 30 days of playing on the site. Terms and conditions apply. Go ahead, click the link in the description, sign up using my promo code Dave on Profit X, and join me on America's #1 sports prediction market.